Along the rushing waters of the upper Colorado River, a routine rafting expedition turned into something extraordinary when a team of experienced guides witnessed what may be one of the most compelling Bigfoot sightings in modern history. The incident, captured on video during a lunch break, has since gone viral, reigniting global fascination with the legendary creature and prompting serious questions about what truly inhabits North America's remote wilderness areas. The Colorado River Expedition Team, composed of seasoned outdoor professionals, initially mistook the large, dark figure moving through the dense forest as a bear. However, as they observed more closely, they realized the creature was moving distinctly upright on two legs, its gait smooth and natural. The guides quickly grabbed their camera equipment, managing to record several seconds of footage before the mysterious being turned toward them, seemingly aware of their presence, then disappeared into the thick foliage. This sighting occurred in a region of Colorado that has accumulated over 100 reported Bigfoot encounters just in the first half of 2025, adding credibility to the rafting team's experience. The area's rugged terrain, with its deep forests and limited human access, provides the perfect habitat for a large, undiscovered primate to potentially exist undetected. The video evidence shows a creature that appears significantly different from known wildlife. Unlike bears, which occasionally stand bipedally but only for short periods, this figure maintained an upright posture throughout its movement. Its proportions and the way it carried its weight suggested a body structure distinct from both humans and North American bears. The creature's size, estimated between 7 and 8 feet tall based on surrounding vegetation for scale, matches numerous historical descriptions of Sasquatch. Colorado's wilderness has long been a hotspot for unusual sightings. The state's vast backcountry, particularly in the San Juan and Sawatch mountain ranges, has generated consistent reports of large, hairy bipeds for over a century. Native American tribes in the region, including the Ute and Arapaho, have oral traditions dating back generations that speak of wild men inhabiting the most remote areas. Modern technology has brought new tools to the search for answers. The rafting team plans to return to the site with specialized equipment, including thermal imaging cameras and audio recorders capable of capturing infrasound. They hope to find physical evidence such as hair samples or distinctive footprints in the soft soil near the riverbank. Such evidence could potentially undergo DNA analysis, which has become increasingly sophisticated in recent years. The scientific community remains divided on the Bigfoot phenomenon. While mainstream science generally dismisses Sasquatch as folklore, a growing number of primatologists and anthropologists argue that the possibility of an undiscovered great ape in North America shouldn't be automatically discounted. They point to the 1901 discovery of the mountain gorilla, which was similarly considered mythical until scientifically verified. Cryptozoologists have proposed several theories about Bigfoot's possible identity. Some suggest it could be a remnant population of Gigantopithecus, a massive ape species thought to have gone extinct tens of thousands of years ago. Others speculate it might represent an unknown species of hominid that crossed the Bering Land Bridge alongside early humans. The cultural significance of Bigfoot extends beyond mere cryptozoology. Many indigenous traditions regard these creatures as spiritual beings rather than simple animals. The Ojibwe concept of the Rougarou, for instance, portrays them as forest guardians who appear when the natural world is out of balance. Some modern environmentalists have adopted this perspective, viewing Bigfoot sightings as symbolic reminders of humanity's fractured relationship with wilderness. As with all potential Bigfoot evidence, skepticism remains healthy and necessary. Wildlife experts note that bears, particularly when injured or sick, can exhibit unusual behavior that might explain some sightings. The human mind, especially in stressful wilderness situations, is also prone to misinterpreting natural phenomena. However, the consistency of reports across decades and cultures, combined with certain physical evidence like the famous Patterson-Gimlin film, suggests something more than simple misidentification may be occurring. The Colorado rafting team's experience adds another intriguing chapter to this enduring mystery. Whether their footage ultimately proves to show an unknown primate, a clever hoax, or something else entirely, it serves as a powerful reminder of how much remains undiscovered in our modern world. As technology improves and wilderness areas become more accessible, perhaps we will finally solve one of North America's greatest natural mysteries. Until then, sightings like this continue to captivate the imagination and challenge our understanding of the natural world. For centuries, reports of massive, hair-covered creatures lurking in the wilderness have persisted across North America. These accounts, spanning indigenous oral traditions, pioneer journals, and modern eyewitness testimonies, form the foundation of the Bigfoot phenomenon, one of the most enduring cryptozoological mysteries in the world. A cabin in the woods. In the dense forests of Washington state, a man, who has chosen to remain anonymous, recently experienced something that would shake him to his core. Seeking solitude, he retreated to a remote cabin, hoping to disconnect from modern life. What he found instead was something straight out of a nightmare. On his second night, as he sat by the fire, an unsettling feeling crept over him. The usual nighttime sounds of the forest, the rustling leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, suddenly felt oppressive. Then, he saw it, a massive handprint pressed against the frosted window. The photographs that shook the Bigfoot community. Acting on instinct, the man grabbed his phone and began snapping pictures. The first few were blurred, his hands shaking too violently to hold the camera steady. But as he steadied himself, the images became clearer. The creature didn't flee. Instead, it seemed almost curious, watching him with an eerie intelligence. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished into the night. The next morning, the man reviewed the photos. While some were too dark or shaky to make out, a handful captured something extraordinary. A massive, bipedal figure with unmistakably humanoid features. The images were unlike anything typically dismissed as a hoax. No blurry shapes or obvious costumes. This was something else entirely. Portlock, Alaska. The ghost town terrorized by a mysterious beast. Nestled along Alaska's rugged southern coast lies Portlock, a place so haunted by terror that it was abandoned not once, but 4 times over 2 centuries. What began as a promising settlement became a nightmare, with residents fleeing from something they couldn't explain, a hulking, violent creature that stalked them from the shadows. A cursed land from the start. The first recorded abandonment occurred in the late 1700s when British explorer Nathaniel Portlock discovered an eerily vacant native village. The houses stood intact, food stores remained untouched, yet not a single soul remained. His crew, sensing something wrong, tried to settle there anyway. But within days, they were overcome with sickness and an unnatural, creeping dread. They fled, never learning what had driven the original inhabitants away. They weren't the first. 6 years earlier, Spanish explorers had made the same discovery, and suffered the same fate. Strange noises, unseen watchers, and an oppressive fear forced them out. The cannibal giants of the 1800s. For nearly a century, Portlock lay abandoned, until the 1860s, when the Sugpiaq people attempted to settle there. At first, the land provided abundantly. Then, the attacks began. Villagers spoke of Nantianak, huge, hairy creatures that emerged from the forest at night. When game was plentiful, the beasts left them alone. But when food grew scarce, the creatures returned, hunting humans instead. By 1905, the Sugpiaq, too, abandoned Portlock. The final settlement, and its gruesome end. In 1921, the ELUSIVE people arrived, determined to build a thriving town. They erected a cannery, a school, and homes. But they knew the legends. Strict rules were enforced. No one entered the woods alone, armed guards patrolled at night, and curfews were absolute. For a while, it worked. Then, in 1931, logger Andrew Kamuck ignored the warnings. When searchers found his body, the scene was horrifying. His skull crushed, his heavy sled thrown like a toy, his dogs ripped apart. Soon after, resident Thomas Larson spotted a massive hairy figure on the beach, too large to be human, yet standing upright. He raised his rifle but froze, overcome with fear. The disappearances escalated. Hunters vanished. Bodies were found mutilated. By 1950, the entire town fled in a single night, leaving behind only a lone post office worker. He didn't stay long. The sound of something walking on 2 legs outside his door sent him running. Organizations like Expedition Bigfoot approached the mystery with a blend of open-minded curiosity and rigorous methodology. Equipped with thermal cameras, audio recorders, and DNA sampling kits, they venture into hotspots where sightings are most frequent, hoping to capture definitive evidence. Their work represents a modern evolution of Bigfoot research, one that moves beyond campfire tales and grainy videos, instead treating the phenomenon as a legitimate scientific question. Yet despite decades of investigation, the truth remains elusive. Is Bigfoot a relic hominid, a misidentified bear, or a cultural archetype embedded deep in the human psyche? Until conclusive proof emerges, the legend will continue to fascinate, challenge, and haunt those who dare to ask, what really walks in the deepest parts of the wild?